You may know where you are, and God may know where you are. But if dispatch doesn't know where you are, then you and God had better be on really good terms. Today I want to talk to you about the roles of 911 dispatchers. Picture it. It's potentially your worst day. You're having a medical emergency, you've been in a car crash, your house is on fire, or you've been the victim of a crime. All you want to do is pick up the phone and get the ambulance, the police car, or the fire truck. But in order to do that, you have to talk to the 911 dispatcher. My name is Matthew Bigelow. I've been in emergency services for 20 years. While I've never been a dispatcher, during that course of time I've had the privilege to talk to several, and my wife even dispatched for 10 years. Today I want to talk to you about 3 roles that emergency dispatchers play. First and foremost, they field the 911 calls and get the information to dispatch the resources. Secondly, they actually dispatch the resources to the call. And then last, once those resources are on the scene of calls, the dispatchers act as a source of crucial information for the crews in the field. So let's talk about call taking. According to the 911 statistics from the National Emergency Number Association, dispatchers answer approximately 240 million 911 calls each year. Not all of these calls result in an emergency response. Some of them are just accidental dials. Some of them are people calling, asking questions, like, what's the non-emergency number for me to call and get information? In addition to the 911 calls, dispatchers also have to answer those same non-emergency lines. A good example is when your alarm company calls, they can't dial 911, they're in another city, so they have to call the department's non-emergency line to be able to get the resources they need to your house. Also, those dispatchers may answer the administration lines on evenings and weekends. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics article, what police, fire, and ambulance dispatchers do, in addition to getting the location of the emergency, dispatchers also have to ascertain the nature of the emergency and obtain any pertinent information that the responders may need to know. At the same time, not only do they have to remain calm, but they have to try to calm down the person on the other end of the phone. During all that, they may even have to deliver instructions to that caller, such as in the event of a medical emergency. So that brings us to our next point. The dispatchers know where the emergency is and what the emergency is. Now they're going to send the resources. When dispatching for law enforcement, they're able to advise officers not only of the location and the nature of the call, but any history that they've been out there for in the past at that same address, or any potential threats to the officer, such as weapons or animals. When dispatching for the fire department, again, location, nature of the incident. Some departments are even able to give the location of the fire hydrants. So when they pull up for a house fire, they know where that hydrant is without having to look for it. They can tell, whether they've been told somebody's been still trapped in a building, or they can give weather information for hazardous materials calls. For ambulance dispatching, again, the location and nature of the incident, but any past medical calls they've had at that address. If they know that the patient has a certain history, they can relay that to the ambulance crew. And again, they can also offer pre-arrival instructions to the caller, such as talking them through CPR in the event of cardiac arrest. Now that the resources have been sent, the information role comes into play. For law enforcement, once that officer gets on scene, they're able to run vehicle registrations, they can run criminal histories on any suspects that the law enforcement is dealing with, or they can have, check and see if there's any current warrants out for an individual that they're dealing with. For the fire department, the dispatchers act as an intermediary between the responders and other agencies such as the gas company, power company, public works, materials manufacturers for hazardous materials calls, just all kinds of different utility companies. And in the event of a large-scale incident, they can also call additional agencies, other fire departments from other jurisdictions to come in and assist with that. Ambulance dispatchers, in addition to having access to previous calls at the address, knowing, hey, it's this patient, they might have this history, we can relay that to the crews. They're also keeping track of what hospitals have what resources available. what ambulances are available for calls and where they're located. And again, they're an intermediary between other ambulance companies for mutual aid and even air med support such as Life Flight. So in closing, I've talked about 3 important roles that dispatchers play. They receive 911 calls, they dispatch 911 calls, and they provide information to the crews in the field. I'd like to share a little comical job description that I've seen, that they have to do precision guesswork based on unreliable information from questionable sources. This not only applies to the people on the other end of the phone, but also to the responders that are on the other end of the radio. In her article, The Myth of Multitasking, Dr. Nancy Napier says that true multitasking does not exist. That your brain just simply switches off from one task and starts doing another task, and you switch back and forth. Having sat in the dispatch room, I would have to disagree. I've watched the dispatcher talk to and listen to somebody on the phone, talk to and listen to an officer on the radio, all at the same time. They're entering information from both sources into the computer to keep calls updated. Dispatchers are the unsung heroes of emergency response, and I hope that you'll remember them the next time that you want to honor your first responders. Thank you.